So this is the second part of the Critter project. This is the Illustrator version. I'm also going to throw in a couple little tricks in here, a couple more tools. Again, you're going to have to kind of really look for some tutorials as you go through the tools, and there's just really not enough airspace for every single thing that you can do in this program. But as I do the different demos and tutorials, I will try to add bits here and there. It's always good, though, to attend office hours if you're really wanting to walk through the program, which I can open it up during office hours, and we can go through Illustrator together. Okay, so I finished this kind of quick, goofy little creature here. Used the shape tool, I used the blob brush, things like that. What I'm going to show you how to do is how to copy and paste it to a new artboard, and then so group and ungroup, and then kind of copy and paste different shapes and warp them to create other characters. Okay, again, I'll try to keep it a little bit brief and just, again, revisit some of the things maybe I didn't do in the first tutorial. First thing is I did change this shape to a gradient. So you can see here that the line is a gradient and the fill is, well, the fill is solid, it's blue, but the line is a gradient. I kind of switched that out. If I toggle this arrow here, I can swap that so the inside's a gradient and the outside's line. But I kind of like the outside line being a gradient. Your gradient tool is here. Double click on it and you can see what it looks like. It will come out default black and white, but if you want to ever change that, so for example, if I want to make it so it's not black and white, all I have to do is go to the window, make sure my swatch menu is available, okay? Again, this is also how you can load into, if you don't have fills or strokes here, you can load them from, this is the main swatch library. Again, there's a lot of things in the swatch library. There's patterns, there's, you know, all sorts of color schematics that you can use. But you can simply drag and drop into here to change out that swatch, okay? So maybe I'll just go ahead. I kind of like that magenta one. That's pretty. So I'll go ahead and click on the man, and I can use the magenta swatch for that too. So now they can match. I want the body and the head to match. So that's just a little detour into gradients. Let me just go ahead and move that over to the side. Let's just ignore the gradient. Where is the panel? Okay, down here. See how your panels get kind of built up quickly. Okay, this is the next part where I want to move into an, I want to get a new artboard and move my design over. One other thing too, I just wanted to mention, if you accidentally get something on the wrong layer, for example, my details were on the wrong layer, you can go ahead and you can click pressing shift, so shift, click, here and here. So all of those are highlighted, shift and clicking will highlight. You can create a new layer, let's say layer 9, name it that, name it details 2, go to object, arrange, and send to current layer. So wherever you want to send it, make sure it's highlighted, and then press click, and all of those details will go to layer 9. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and delete that now. Remember also Command Z, or you can do edit undo, will undo your last step when you're going through and editing. So I'm going to go to artboards here. I'm going to create a new artboard. You can see it just shows up here. It's the same size as my original. Okay, so now I have one here. When I go to export or print, I can choose to do 1 or 2. So that's kind of nice thing about doing artboards is you can kind of click on them. That's artboard 2, and you can export it independently. Again, this has already been exported as a PNG and saved in my Google Drive. So I'm going to go ahead and use my black arrow, drag around the entire image. Okay. You can also go over here and make sure that you're targeting them all here. So if, see how they're all highlighted now? You can also press on this little circle and make sure that they're all selected. That can help you do that. It looks as though I got everything, but sometimes if you have a very complex design, that can be kind of difficult. Then I want to go up to Object, and I want to press Group. And then I can do you can either do copy and paste and bring it over to the other artboard, or you can also do Option and drag, and that will create a copy while it's selected. So I'm going to press Option. You can see I get this little white arrow next to it, and that should create a copy for me. There we go. On the second try it did. And now I have a copy of my little person here on this second artboard. Okay, so artboard 2 has this person. And again, it's dealing with the layers in the same way. You will also, before you're doing this, make sure that you export one Illustrator document without the extra artboard, because when you're doing your GIF, that will make it a little confusing. So you'll have two, one for your character development and one for the GIF. So before you start doing all of this. I'm going to go ahead and select all of this and then ungroup it. So I have to go to ungroup here, and great. So now the first one is still grouped, but this one is not, so I can move the objects independently. When it was grouped, I couldn't do that. Okay, so now I'm going to pick out different objects from here. What's nice is that these objects are going to be on, when the body of the other character exists, then it will be on the appropriate layer. So that will be kind of advantageous. Or actually it all kind of went, see, when I grouped it, it all went to one layer. So you have to divvy it back out. That's why you want to do the GIF first, or the GIF export first, or save that document separately and save this as a character example, because it's going to group them all onto one layer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and then I can piece it out if I want to later. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this. Okay, and I'm going to make a copy of the head. Again, with the option, sometimes, copy and paste sometimes works even a little bit better, but you sometimes have to do it a couple times. And for my second character, I'm just going to go ahead and maybe elongate it. So this character is more round, and this character is long and thin. And then grab this option, maybe shorten it up. Okay. So I have some sort of, again, you're interviewing people, so you have some sort of personification, so there might be little details, like a certain shirt or a hat or something like that. But this is one way so that your color, your palette, and your design resonates for all your characters. Okay, so I'm going to take this eyeball here. Again, it's all in one layer on the details right now. I can separate it out and worry about that later if I want to use this, if I want to animate any of these characters instead of my other one. I'm not worried about that now. I'm just kind of creating. So there we go. You can see that I'm starting to make a character that's got similar features, but slightly different than my first one, just by duplicating and rearranging, warping, shaping. If I go and use this white direct selection, you can see I can change the anchor point, so I can even make kind of a wonkier shape than I already have. Okay, I can actually take out individual areas and make it less round. It's kind of round there. Okay. And you're going to do that for 3 extra characters, and then you're going to separate them out nicely on this page, arrange it nicely, give them little descriptions. You can give them a background, anything that you want to do there. Yeah, you can kind of just have fun with it. You can make that kind of a mohawky thing, that sort of thing. But do try to really reuse, right? So, try to make them, this way they're aesthetically kind of uniform in some ways. Okay, and that's all for this portion.